We're Trent Allie, and building a house is easy.
All right,
this is
so
Trent-proof instructions right here.
you know, kind of like just wrapping a Christmas present on the inside.
Until you get hurt.
Ah! But guess what? I'm not the type of person that gets stitches, for one, and for two, definitely not getting stitches in the tip of my finger.
We've got a couple other issues going on. Are we out of gas?
I don't know what's going on.
But summer is coming. And today, we're doing everything we can to keep up the progress.
I feel like it's starting to move quickly.
Yeah, it's cool.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. We are getting a nice early start today. Brandon just showed up. If you guys caught our last episode, we basically finished insulating all of the interior walls. All we have to do left is just put some insulation in the ceiling in the basement, which we can't do until the spray foam guy comes, and then some insulation in between the bathroom walls, which we can't do until we have one side of the sheetrock up. So we're kind of done for insulation on the inside of the house at the moment. Today, we're gonna be tackling the air barrier. This seems like it's gonna be really easy. It's, you know, kind of like just wrapping a Christmas present on the inside. And hopefully it's as easy as I think it's gonna be. The problem is that we have to do all of the interior walls, which means all the way up to the tip of the gable. So that's probably gonna be hard. I'm really excited to do this today because once that's done, all the insulation is like kind of sealed away and we're not like messing it with it and you're not running into it and sending particles into the air. I'm really excited. How we doing, my love?
Good.
Beautiful day out there.
It is. Okay, so the main goal for today is to at least put up the air barrier in the majority of the walls in the house. We're gonna start with the sunroom because it's smaller and feels the most manageable, but unfortunately, it's our storage room, and even though it's organized, there's stuff all up against the walls. So I need to start by moving everything away from the walls, and then we can start the air barrier while Brandon starts. What are you doing?
Sheetrock backing everywhere.
In the bathrooms?
Everywhere.
Nice.
Doing it all.
Doing it all, getting ready for drywall. We're all ready to go. We've hit our very first snag though, and that's that the instructions to put up this air barrier are in Dutch. You speak Dutch?
Wait, maybe the instructions are on the inside.
Fancy.
Woo! 20 more languages. Don't even have to read anything. We've got
Nice.
pictures. All right,
This is
so
Trent-proof instructions right here.
you can read the words there on the outside. Oh, this guy's doing some glue and caulking. I think I can tell from the pictures what we're supposed to do. So I'm gonna go grab some staples, throw them in the staple gun. We're gonna start hanging this stuff. One thing that has been kind of a staple, a part of our build, is that every project that we get to, or every different stage, I've never done it before, and I'm not exactly sure how to do it. Maybe I've seen some instructional videos or something like that, but a lot of it is like running on intuition, a lot of thinking and overthinking and rethinking and thinking again and trying to problem solve and trying to figure things out. And sometimes I do it right, and sometimes I come up with a way where when professionals see it, they say, well, that's one way to do it. And it's not necessarily, you know, standard practice, but usually everything turns out okay. And now that we're like to the air barrier, it's like, oh, well, what about this? And I don't know, do we have to glue the corners and the edges, or can we just tape them? And it's like, here goes nothing.
I was driving down the coastline. I had no thought of destination. I was just hoping it would make me feel fine. I guess it was some kind of contemplation.
Okay, it's taken us a little longer than expected, just like everything else on this build, but now we are kind of in a groove, we have a good rhythm going, and it's looking so transformative. Honestly, like, it looks like the walls of a house now.
Yeah, things are really moving along. I'm really excited to be getting to like the almost drywall stage, even though I know drywall will be a nightmare. I'll be really excited once drywall's done.
Yeah.
And we really just have to do this top piece up here, and then we have to cut out the windows and tape up all the seams, and the sunroom is ready for drywall.
We don't need to spend any money on power blinds. Let's just roll these up and roll them down whenever we want to. Perfect.
Terrible idea.
How's it going out there?
So good.
Really?
Done.
Done?
Itchy.
Nice.
Now we just have to do a lot of taping. We got all of the air barrier up in the sunroom. Once we tape the corners and we tape around all the seams, we still have to trim out the windows, and so I'm going to wait until we trim those out to tape all the corners of the windows in. It basically took us all day to do this, which means probably like 3 days of doing this to do the inside of the house. This roll is 5 feet tall, that roll is 10 feet tall. So same amount of hanging, half as much taping. That will make it go a lot faster, especially on like the giant gable walls. They'll just be 3 pieces instead of 6 pieces. That would be a nightmare with ladders and stuff. So it's coming along quite nicely. All right, it has taken us all day to do this, but I'm really happy to say that it's basically done. We got all of the air barrier, we got all of the corners taped, we got the top plate taped. It's looking really, really nice. And it's not like hard work. It's like actually kind of fun. It's like a little bit tedious, I guess, but you make huge progress with giant pieces, and then it like totally transforms it and it looks amazing. And I couldn't be happier, honestly. Tomorrow we're gonna get a little bit of extra zip sheathing, and we're gonna trim out these windows so that the thermal buck matches the reveal of where the sheetrock is going to end up. And then we can tape up the windows, and it'll be ready for spray foam in the ceiling, a little bit of foam on the wall. So hopefully we can do that in the first half of tomorrow, and then we'll be able to start doing the air barrier in the rest of the house. I did all of the spray foaming and all of the cracks and everywhere that needs to be done. So tomorrow I can trim that. It'll be ready for the air barrier. What a day. We'll probably see you guys in the morning.
Good morning, guys. We're just waking up, having some coffee, and enjoying the joys of having a puppy first thing in the morning. A puppy that does not like to sleep in. Even Frank is over it. Frank is just in Lika's kennel, in the very back. Hi, buddy.
Yeah, it's actually really ironic. This kennel was Frank's kennel when he was a puppy, when we kennel trained him. And now that we're training Lika, Frank like remembers this kennel and he likes it. He likes to be able to go in and like nestle up in the bed and like hide, I think.
Yeah.
And we catch him in there all the time. In fact, a couple times we've actually gone to put Lika to bed at night. We're like, in your kennel, and she goes in there and we close the door and we lock it, and then we hear and I go look, and they're both in the kennel because Frank's like already in there like nestled up. So he actually loves it quite a bit, and I don't blame him. It looks really comfortable in there.
I'm on morning duty, so when we go to bed at night, it's all Trent. He does the night shift, he does getting ready for bed, which is great because I just like want to go to sleep. I'm exhausted at the end of the day. But then in the morning, no matter how early Lika wants to get up, I'm on duty. So if it's 6 a.m., if it's 6:30, if it's 5:30, it's me. And then I take her out and I try to get her to go back to sleep in the crate. And normally it doesn't really work.
Lately, we've just been allowing her to have the crate open when we try to go back to sleep in the morning and let her kind of roam around. And sometimes she'll just go lay in Frank's bed at the foot of the bed and everything is fine. But now that she's gotten more agile and larger, she's jumping up on the bed, which we're trying to train her not to get on the bed because when she's like 80 pounds, our bed is not big enough for her and Frank and Allie and I. So we're trying to like keep the dogs off the bed. And there's nothing quite like a rambunctious, lerpy, goofy puppy just leaping onto the bed and like coming and like attacking your face and licking you to death. It's a wonderful way to wake up.
This night will be okay, waking up to another day.
It's 39 degrees this morning and there's no forecast of snow, which might not be a big deal for you, but for me, it's springtime. It's exciting. And springtime for me is spring cleaning and maybe a little bit of spring redecorating. And that's why I'm excited today to try out some new bedding from Cariloha. Cariloha is the sponsor of today's video. Cariloha is an eco-conscious luxury brand offering exclusive collections of comfortable bedding, apparel, and activewear created from sustainable bamboo. Bamboo is softer than cotton. It wicks away moisture and helps to keep you cool while you're sleeping. And we love that it's good for the earth. Bamboo renews itself naturally and is one of the most sustainable resources on the planet. Cariloha's products come in beautiful styles and colors, with tons of options for your spring redecorating needs. Cariloha makes it possible to go from this to this. If you guys want to check out Cariloha, click the link in our description or go to cariloha.com/TrentAllie and use code TRENTALLIE to check out all their sustainable, incredible bedding. Thanks again to Cariloha for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to enjoy, and then I'll head into work. Today is actually a super fun day for me because I have a bunch of errands to do. Basically the opportunity to head into town and get some fun stuff done on my own while Trent and Brandon just work away, just power through on the house. And as much as I love helping them and being a part of the build, it's also super fun to be able to just have an excuse to go do something else for the day. The first stop is definitely more of an errand than a fun adventure. The 4Runner needs an oil change. So I'm taking it into our very first service appointment and hoping that everything on the 4Runner looks good so far.
Alright, I finally made it into the house. Brandon is out here ripping pieces of plywood down into little strips. He's going to be trimming out the windows like this, but in the sunroom. And once we have that done, we can actually tape up the air barrier and have all of those walls completely done, except for, you know, the big wall is going to need some foam. But other than that, that room is going to be complete as far as our insulating responsibilities are going to go. Now, we did actually stop at Home Depot today, grabbed a couple of these box fans, and then we grabbed a couple of these super basic air filters. So if you stick one of these on the back of a box fan, turn the box fan on, it's a really cheap and easy way to get particles out of the air. So we did all the insulating in here with the mineral wool, and there's not a lot of fibers, you know, kind of floating around in the air right now. But once you start moving around, you start moving things, the particles are all over everything, and they are in the air, they're on the floor. So these fans being on high with those filters will take a lot of the particles out of the air, or so we're hoping. We don't really know. I'm actually gonna start by trimming a lot of the little spray foam sections, like that one right there. There's some way up there. And then by the time Brandon's done doing the window trim and I'm done trimming all the foam, we can start doing the air barrier in the house. And then there won't be any more particles from the insulation coming in. All right, well, now I got the tall wall completely done. I got all the foam trimmed off, everything down on the main level. The only thing left to do is the foam right here, which should actually be relatively easy. I do need to find a ladder to get up to the top. But trimming foam is actually not that bad. That was a little bit more nerve-wracking than I was hoping for, but we got it done. Now, just gotta go and remove all the nails and anything else that might be sticking out of the walls in here. Ah! Well, I don't know if you guys heard me very angrily screaming over there a minute ago, but I kind of cut the tip of my finger with the razor blade when I was trying to cut the tape. I was behind some wood, and as I pushed, my hand was back behind that wood and landed right in the middle of my pinky. And I think if I went to the doctor, obviously they would say, you need some stitches in that. But guess what? I'm not the type of person that gets stitches, for one. And for two, I'm definitely not getting stitches in the tip of my finger. But it did bleed pretty good for a minute. I got the bleeding to stop. We're gonna keep working. So we finished out trimming out the windows inside of the house. Brandon knocked that out, did an amazing job. We have another little project over here that I kind of had to tackle. Right here, if you guys remember, we had the strong wall. It's kind of like a vertical beam in the house to stop the house from tipping over side to side, because that happens, I guess. And so we had to put in this really expensive beam that goes over here, but it's just a solid chunk of wood, and it's almost as thick as our wall, but not quite. And there's no insulation right there. There's no framing. So I had to do these creative drywall backing sections right there. And then I had to fill it all with this foam. And then I went ahead and spray foamed all the cracks. Kind of reminds me of a van, because in a van, you usually put like the foam boards and spray foam around them. And I've done that a couple times. So now that we've got that done, got to trim a tiny bit of that. And then we're going to start the air barrier. But I did want to show you guys a little something that's going on outside right now. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but it's snowing just very lightly. You probably can't see it on the camera. And there is blue skies right there. So I don't think this is gonna last, but it's just funny that it's flurrying right now. Just it's the price we pay for how beautiful it is here in the summertime. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, just like that, the car is in the exact same condition that I left it in. They actually washed the outside, which is great because it's always constantly super muddy because of where we live. But the oil was changed, all the fluids were topped off. They said it still looks and feels like a brand new car, which it definitely does. I'm super happy with this decision because it's much easier and more fun to drive than the truck, even though it's not as capable for maybe like hauling huge supplies to the house. It's definitely like a better car for driving around town, for getting around. And I haven't had my own car in a very long time, in years. When we lived in a van, we only had that one vehicle. And whenever we had to go somewhere, we just went together, which is totally fine, but it is really fun to just have a little bit of freedom and be able to go do things on my own.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's going on there?
Oh, you know, it just started snowing in the middle of our day.
What?
Which is fine. I'm just talking on the phone with one hand, 20 feet off the ground on a ladder.
Okay, hang up. Don't talk to me then. Do you guys need anything really fast before I head back?
I don't think so.
All right, I'll see you in a bit then.
Okay, love you.
Be safe. Love you. at this. Totally different place in here.
I know, right?
Yeah. Maybe just like, you know, finish up the whole rest of the house and then we can take a lunch break.
I'm ready for lunch right now.
Perfect.
Almost done with the respirator. The dogs have just been hanging out outside the entire time. The air barrier is going up fast.
I'm so happy about
the
that.
10-foot sheets
Yeah.
make it a breeze.
Nice.
We have like all this basically completely done, halfway around there. It's pretty much just like the upstairs layer.
Mm-hmm.
One layer here, a second layer, and then the gable end up there.
Cool. Brandon took off for the day, and I'd say like you've made 100% more progress than I was expecting you to make today.
It's really coming along. The air barrier is actually going a lot faster than I anticipated, but it's still a mess in here. Remember when we, like a week ago, when we cleaned up and everything was like so nice?
Yeah.
It's a mess again. So we still have a lot of cleaning up to do. We have to clean up all the pieces of the air barrier that we've cut apart now. But literally like a third of the house is done, basically, the air barrier. Well, we still got to tape all this stuff. So there's a lot of taping that needs to go on, but we got it hung and stapled. So I'm going to set these up. They're going to clean the air all weekend, and the furnace is going to clean the air. And when we come back, this place should be really nice and clean with very minimal particles. And then we can put up the rest of the air barrier and
Not have to worry about
then we don't have
dying.
to wear masks anymore. And then we get to start drywall. So.
Well, we've got the box fans going. We've got the furnace on, even though the Ecopy just said it was negative 500 degrees.
Yeah, it had a little bit of an issue.
Okay, there was a
fixed
minor
now.
issue, but it's not negative 500 degrees in the house. And we're gonna kind of run the fans over the weekend and see if it helps purify the air a little bit. And then hopefully next week, we won't have any more exposed insulation, which is really what we're trying to get past as quickly as possible at this point.
Over the weekend, the spray foam guy is supposed to come up and give us a bid, and if the road's not in too terrible shape, maybe he'll say, I can make it up here this week. That would be best case scenario, and then he
huge.
could get the spray foam taken care of. Maybe we could start working on the outside while he's doing that. I feel like it's starting to move quickly.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's like,
If
it's
we can
really,
just-
really cool.
If we can keep getting supplies on time, that'll
if it
make a
would
huge
stop
difference.
Snowing.
Yeah.
The snow, like, it's not that I really care that much about the snow. If our house was built, I'd be totally cool with it. It's the fact that when it snows, it makes the roads bad, and when the roads are bad, trucks can't come up here to deliver stuff. We need to do our siding. We need to do our roof. We need to get the exterior foam board installed. Like, we need to pull the electrical line and get our permanent power hooked up. There's just a lot of things that we still need to do, and the snow is just not helping us expedite that whatsoever.
I think we're gonna wrap up for the day for now. It's Friday afternoon. We want to get outside and enjoy the day a little bit. I know the dogs are itching to get outside. So we're gonna go explore a new trail that we've never been on and see if the dogs like it. Are we out of gas?
I don't know what's going on. Hello?
Huh, that was weird.
Never had that happen before.
We just started backing out of the driveway with the car running, obviously, and it just shut off in the middle of backing out of the driveway, which hopefully doesn't happen again on a main road. The good news is the truck is running fine. I don't know what happened earlier. The bad news is the dog park is closed. There's a trail system around here, which is awesome for exercising ourselves and the dogs, but it's closed for spring break mud season, which is totally understandable because it's really muddy out, and it won't open again for another week. So we're gonna drive around and see if we can find anywhere else to let the dogs run around, and hopefully there's something that's a little less muddy that we can find close by.
Let's face it, our dogs get plenty of exercise running around our property and having a lot of fun, but especially Lika needs to be socialized with a lot of dogs and a lot of people constantly in order for her to develop into a well-tempered, well-mannered adult dog. And we don't have that many visitors, so we need to go to a dog park where there's lots of dogs that she can play with and lots of people she can say hi to. It's a nice, beautiful day. It's about 55 degrees.
Are you ready,
Lika is aching to go.
You ready?
Let's go.
Yeah!
We're having a great time out here, and the sun is like just warm enough. There's like a cool breeze. It's not too hot.
And it's not muddy.
It's not muddy. I'm loving it.
Choose from. We got plenty of rooms, just pick one. We got sandals shoes in the middle of June while the J-Box playing our favorite tune. Don't wanna start, give this situation. I live my life like a revolution.
So up here in the middle of the mountains, we just found this truck, an old mining truck or something from maybe like the 50s or something. And there's just a lot of random metal junk around it.
Wow.
It's crazy what you find in the mountains. Woo! Well, we just clocked about 2.5 miles and about 400 feet of elevation gain. We had a great time wandering around out here in the desert mountain zone. It's like a sagebrush forage with scrub oak. I don't really know what this would be called, but it was quite fun.
Yeah, this is perfect, and I never knew this was so close to our house. It's like now that the snow is starting to melt, this is really like our first season being able to explore our surroundings, because before we were just snowed in and like head down working on the house, and now we can actually like go outside and play, you know?
Yeah, and I would love to go hike around by our house, but there's still so much snow and so much mud that it's just not really a fun adventure right now. So it's nice that we can get out and, you know, within an hour we can find places that are beautiful and amazing and fun to hike. But I'm really glad we made so much progress on the house and we got outside, got to move our bodies. What a great start to the week. Super windy. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along on this adventure. If you did, make sure you show us by giving us a big thumbs up on the video. Consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already.
Thanks again to Cariloha for sponsoring today's video. Leave the link in our description to check them out.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Adios.
On the highest mountain.